You want envelope-pushing battle scenes? Go to HBO. Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 greatest Game of Thrones battles. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. That means we're looking at the most epic Game of Thrones battles based on the scale of the production and the narrative significance of the conflict. Obviously, a spoiler alert is now in effect. Let's get to it. Number 10, the Second Siege of Meereen.
We obviously didn't communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender, not mine.
Daenerys' time in Slaver's Bay was filled with confrontations both small and large. From the sack of Astapor to the First Siege of Meereen to the many battles of the Uprising in Meereen. But arguably the most memorable battle came when the Masters of Astapor and Yunkai attacked Meereen in support of the Sons of the Harpy, while Daenerys was missing. Luckily, the Mother of Dragons returned to her city in time to tilt the conflict in her favor. Though the city was damaged and many civilians killed in the conflict, the battle resulted in Dany maintaining complete control in Slaver's Bay, eventually renaming it the Bay of Dragons.
When they come forward with notions of retribution or ideas about returning the slave cities to their former glory, remind them what happened when Daenerys Stormborn and her dragons came to Meereen.
Number 9, the assault on the Targaryen fleet.
Euron.
Of all the wildly dysfunctional families in Westeros, the Greyjoys have a particularly homicidal aspect to their dynamic. Case in point, the time Euron and his crew assaulted the Targaryen fleet led by his niece Yara to capture Illyria Sand and bring her back to Cersei. It's one of the most chaotic and visceral battles on the show, and Euron's violent insanity is on full display. The battle ends with most of the fleet destroyed, Obara and Nymeria dead, Yara, Illyria, and Tyene captured, and Theon looking like a coward yet again. Number 8, the loot train attack. As if the Dothraki weren't enough of a problem, the Lannister army also had a dragon to deal with.
We can hold them off.
On their way, delivering the loot they took from Highgarden, Jaime and his Lannister army are attacked by Daenerys' forces, and the battlefield quickly becomes engulfed in flames as all hell breaks loose. Daenerys and Drogon burn through Jaime's troops and destroy much of their cargo with dragonfire in a scene that puts the destructive power of dragons on full display. Jaime nearly loses his life in an attempt to rush Daenerys, but is saved by none other than Sir Bronn of the Blackwater in the episode's closing moments. Number 7, the Battle Beyond the Wall. The plan's simple. Head beyond the wall, capture a white, and bring it to King's Landing to show Cersei that the army of the dead is a real threat. Sounds easy enough, right? Sure, the plan is a bit questionable, but it still led to some incredible moments. As the Night King watches from atop a hill with his White Walker generals at his side, our heroes are swarmed from all sides by whites. Luckily, they sent a message to Daenerys to help, and help arrived right on time. Unfortunately for Dany, the battle's biggest casualty was her dragon Viserion. But hey, at least they got that white they were after, right guys? Number 6, the Battle of King's Landing. What began as a battle quickly became a massacre. As Daenerys' forces stared down the Golden Company at the gates of King's Landing, Dany was busy destroying the Iron Fleet and the Scorpion Ballista atop the city walls. Drogon's dragonfire made quick work of Euron's ships, King's Landing's gates, and the Golden Company's troops. And the Lannister army within the city walls made the right choice by surrendering. But despite the ringing of the bells, Daenerys' rage became the loudest voice in her head. And with all her allies and advisors either dead or untrustworthy, Dany's impulses went unchecked as she destroyed the city and its people atop Drogon. Of all the large-scale action scenes in the series, this was the hardest to watch. Number 5, the Massacre at Hardhome. Just when you think winter is never gonna come, the Night King shows up and puts all doubts to rest. As Jon Snow tries to broker peace between the Night's Watch and the Wildlings, the White Walkers let loose their undead forces on the free folk settlement of Hardhome. Not so much a battle as a massacre, this incident shows the true power of Valyrian steel, as Jon manages to strike down a White Walker. Alas, as we see the Night King add the wildling corpses to his army of the dead, any sense of triumph is replaced by imminent dread. Number 4, the Battle of the Blackwater. King's Landing will never know how lucky they were to have the mind of Tyrion Lannister on their side.
Much liked my head. I don't want to see it removed just yet.
As Stannis and his army reach the Bay of Blackwater, the Lannister forces nearly crumble when the Hound flees and Joffrey cowers back to his mother. Luckily, thanks to Tyrion's careful planning and manufacturing of wildfire, not to mention Bronn's dead-eye aim, he manages to cripple the incoming fleet by setting them ablaze. Have had his face cut up and no one will ever thank him for his leadership, but we all know that the true hero of the Blackwater was the so-called half-man.
The battle is over. We have won.
Number 3, the Battle of Winterfell. While some viewers may have had a hard time seeing what was actually happening, the battle between the living and dead was as harrowing and relentless as you'd expect. This was what Jon had been warning everyone about, and what much of the series had been building to. So when the dead finally arrived at Winterfell, it was a moment that was years in the making. This battle had it all, including a dragon fight. Ultimately, it wasn't Daenerys or Jon, but Arya who would defeat the Night King, effectively defeating the army of the dead single-handedly. Number 2, the Battle of Castle Black.
You plan to die here tonight? No, sir! That's very good to hear! Draw!
We all knew the battle was coming, but who thought it was going to be this intense? The Watchers on the Wall find themselves vastly outnumbered as the Free Folk make their attack on Castle Black, accompanied by thousands of warriors and even freaking giants. With cunning and determination, Jon Snow and the Watch managed to survive the night, albeit with huge casualties on both sides. The most painful of these is, of course, Jon's former wildling lover Ygritte, who dies in his arms as the fighting reaches its conclusion. Victory has never been so empty. Number 1, the Battle of the Bastards. Not only is the fight itself utterly stunning to behold, but this is one of the few times on Game of Thrones where it truly feels like the villain gets just what he deserves.
Let's play a game. Run to your brother.
In a bid to take back Winterfell, Jon Snow and his allies take on the sadistic Ramsay Bolton and his northern army in an epic clash that stands as one of the best fantasy battles ever put to screen. Everything from the claustrophobic atmosphere of the battlefield to Jon beating the ever-loving crap out of Ramsay cements this as the most harrowing yet oddly satisfying skirmish to ever come out of Westeros. Hit him again, Jon! Yeah, okay, that makes sense for number one. I'll buy it. Also, I just love seeing Ramsay getting what's coming to him. Isn't that great? Let us know what your favorite Game of Thrones battle was in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you're jonesing for Thrones, get your fix with this other video.